It's your boy JB with the Travel Revel Podcast, and we're back here in Fort Mill, South Carolina at Replay Brewing. And today we've got an 80s and 90s nostalgic throwback that you don't want to miss. Hey, this is Replay. This is how you eat the cheese. Here we are. What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Happy to have you.
So, tell me, what is Replay? What is this? What did I stumble upon?
Yeah.
What the heck just happened? Back to the Future, I'm Marty McFly. I'm like, tell me a little bit about what happened. Were you guys drunk playing Final Fantasy and we're like, oh, we can do this and sell it to people?
Yeah.
What happened?
It actually started more as we were just drinking, and we said, hey, we love drinking, but we're just sitting at a table just shooting the breeze, and after many hours of just sitting there with nothing to do, we said, wouldn't it be fun if we had video games and things for people to look at and do while they were sitting there drinking
So, yeah,
beverages?
you're 40.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
The
Yep.
old English came out.
The whole English came out.
Paper bag.
Paper bag. And you were like, all right, we can do this. We can sell this. But who's the final boss? What was the toughest level to just kind of like get this started? What was it that made you get to that championship round and say, all right, we've overcome all the permits? What was the toughest level getting this place up and going?
Well, world threw us a curveball with COVID, and we had already started the process of, our plans to build this place. And then COVID hit, and we could have pulled the plug right then and said, hey, this is not the time. But we persevered through it and built during COVID, which presented so many challenges of, couldn't get supplies. Labor was hard to come by. So we weathered those storms. We did the Mike Tyson's final punch-out round and got it open. So
I always love that last little, punch and that little whirl that he did.
Yep. The dizzy.
It's like, what?
Yep.
But tell me a little bit about yourself, JT. Where are you from? Buffalo? I see the Buffalo stuff up.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about where you're from and tell the people who you are and why. Why Replay?
Yeah, so my wife and I, Leah, we are from upstate New York, Rochester to be exact, and we were just sick of shoveling snow and coldness, so...
It's so heavy.
It is heavy and cold. And so we decided, if we move down here, we won't have to shovel sunshine.
Right.
So we moved down here. We brought our love for the Bills with us. We have it displayed here for game days and not game days.
I mean, I appreciate that, and you know what, and I feel bad for you guys too. Me being a Giants fan, I'm just letting you guys know. We peed a lot in the snow
Yes.
to say, hey, this is what happened to the Bills in the Super Bowl yet again.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just teasing. But
You got us.
but Buffalo's a great place. Jason, what about you, brother?
So I actually am not from Buffalo. I'm from Charleston.
What?
So born and raised down there in the Low Country.
Okay.
And then made my way up here after college with my fiance, and actually met Leah and JT when I was working at a different brewery. And when I wanted to change some things up, I gave them a call and I was like, "Is your place open yet?" And they were like, "No, but it will be in like 2 weeks. Come on in for an interview." And I've been here since day one now.
Wow, that's quite the change though. That's a commitment.
Oh yeah, it was. It's been a blast the entire time. It was definitely a change of pace, but I enjoy being up here. They're great people. We have a great crew here, and I wouldn't have stayed here for 4 years at this point if they weren't doing something right.
So tell everybody what you're doing here as I move Matt Gleaves' confined space coffee over here out of your face. What is it that you do here at Replay
So I'm our
besides gaming?
we
I know you guys
do a good bit
do
of that. Yeah.
They game.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do a good
sure.
bit of that. I'm our assistant brewer. Unfortunately, our head brewer, Dickie, couldn't be here today. But
Right.
I'm his right-hand man, just helping out with whatever. It's a collaborative thing. We both write up recipes. We both do equal parts of like the manual labor and stuff to put out great products. There's some times that I'm behind the bar as well, so if you are in the Fort Mill area,
Right.
like Juan, that's how you and I met. You can
That's
always
right.
come in and I'll serve you a beer, and if I'm not doing that, I'm probably back here making one.
That's amazing. So everybody's got that go-to beer, and we were just talking about this off camera. That Hadouken, that Street Fighter move. Like, what? Let's get you Hadouken.
Yep.
And we'll get some sound.
Hadouken!
But if not, it sounds
your impression
funny.
was pretty awesome.
It was good.
I think they did one of these things, kind of like Hadouken. And you won the round, and then your friend was no longer your best friend.
Oh, you cheated.
But,
That move,
yeah,
that move's cheap.
why'd you do that? You know, I always hated that. Like, and then they go home. And, I'm never coming over until tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're knocking on the door. But what's everybody's Hadouken? Like, their must-go-to beer.
Are we talking replay beer or just in general? World
Right
beer?
here, like you
Got it.
guys have,
Yep.
like everyone comes in here and they're like, well, you know, we want to try the new stuff.
Yep.
But there's something that really fancies them every time, something that their palate calls for.
Yeah. What do you go to, Jason?
Personally, my go-to is whenever we have a West Coast IPA. Like right now, I'm drinking our animatronic Animal Band. But when I'm behind the bar, if there's people who it's their first time here, depending on, like, they say, I'm not picky, give me what you think is like the beer that keeps people coming back. I'm going for our New England Hazy IPA cheat codes.
Okay.
We take
Sort
it
of what I did, you
Yeah.
know, with our Jaws box.
But yeah, we try to take that to anytime we do a festival, we'll switch up what we take, but we try to always take cheat codes with us. So that's usually where I like to start people off and then kind of adjust from there on how much they like it or not to find their perfect pint.
So I was going to ask a different question, but who comes up with the names? Like,
Honestly,
you know, right?
he wins the medal for the most.
But you
named
guys have
victories.
won medals too. We'll talk
Yes.
about that in a second.
Yeah.
But who comes like so you're sitting there. You're like, all right. Well, I played Sonic, and you know I'm gonna call this one Hedgehog Legs because it's hoppy as hell.
I'm gonna steal that.
Right.
That's a good
All
one.
right.
That's actually a good one.
There you go.
Boom.
So, what happens? Like, how do you do that?
It's a collaborative thing. It's usually Dickie and myself back here with some dumb movie or TV show on.
I love it. I love it.
They'll say a line or something, and we're like, oh, that's a beer name.
Yep. Yep.
So we get there.
I've always wanted a beer named after me, so I'm hoping, Player Juan, right?
Okay. I like
Right?
it.
Player Juan, maybe
I like
a
it.
Mexican lager in honor of Ernesto, who's back there, But I'm just saying, you can go the Puerto Rican route, represent. But I'm just saying.
I'll write something up. I think we can do that.
Yeah. It's doable.
Who makes the cut? Like, how do you make the cut? When somebody sits down, and you were just talking about first timers, but who gets that exit row, right? Who's like on the plane, and they're like, "Well, sorry, kid, you're by your own self." And what beer gets excluded, but is so great that you leave it for last because you're like, "Well, no, I'm going to give you the traditional box, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you like something fascinating that's going to make your head turn fast."
I think that would be our sours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because not everybody loves sours, and some people just have never tried them. And so we try to give them something that maybe they don't even know they want.
Nice.
And so we hit them with a sour. We do some crazy
Okay.
flavor adjuncts, and sometimes it is a home run, and sometimes, they'd rather exit the plane. But, in the end of the day, it's all about personal preference, and there's so many out there.
That's amazing. So that's pretty much where you get your inspiration. It's not like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They all, skip school, and they go to Chicago.
Yep.
Or is it like you call the A-team and you're like, let's go, Unite, or maybe that's Voltron. I don't know.
Voltron is Unite.
Yeah. Voltron might be Unite, but A-team might be, BA. But Mr. T for those of you who watch it. But
Oh, yeah.
where do you get that battle for flavor? Like you're in the back of the house, and you're saying, "All right, what are we constructing?" Or do you have a plan from month to month as what's coming out?
So it's all planned ahead of time. At least if not down to the exact flavors and stuff, it is. We need next month we got to brew a lager, a brown ale, and a stout, and then the next month we got to do X, Y, Z, and we'll have ideas going in of like, oh, that stout would be cool if we did like some coconut in it or something.
Okay.
There are times we have to adjust on the fly. Like we tried to use some prickly pear in a wheat beer that didn't come out that great, but we ended up using prickly pear in a sour that came out awesome.
Nice.
So, it's always, if plan A doesn't work, how well can you pivot it into plan B?
Okay.
but you don't want to pivot into something that's going to be bad and just try to force it.
So what are we drinking here? So I've got a flight.
You do.
JT's got a flight. You've got a flight.
Yeah, indeed I do.
And I've got a pour. So let's tell our audience what we're getting here, because when they get in here, we want to make sure that they understand these are some of the flavor profiles that they're going to be getting. Not maybe necessarily the same beers, because you guys, have such a great following that you guys run out of beer as much as you make it, right?
Yeah.
So what are we drinking? So I'll start. I'll pull this bad boy out, and this was, I think, the Easy Bake.
Yep.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Which is an award winner.
It is. Just took silver for experimental IPAs at the U.S. Beer Open. So it's one of our double hazy IPAs, and this one we got a little off the wall with it because this was our first foray into trying terpene infused beers. Not a lot of people know that cannabis and hops are very closely related.
Yep.
So am I drinking cannabis here?
No, there is
No?
there's no THC in that. There's nothing other than some oils that give aroma and flavor.
Okay.
That's all that's in there. So it's not going to affect you any differently than a double IPA would. But it has that extra little dank note, that smell, that
Gotcha.
extra flavor that kind of partners well with a very hoppy beer. And I think it came out very good, but you're the one sipping on it.
No,
right now.
well, no. This is something that I can probably take to like a bachelor party.
Oh, yeah.
And say, all right, guys, we're gonna get crunk and we're gonna get sideways, and it's gonna take some time, but there's some fun and play in between, right?
That's
This is definitely, or if you wanted to come in on a really summer day, this is really a great pour beer.
Oh, yeah.
But what else? What do you got cooking in there?
I actually just finished off my little flight glass of our Good Burger, which is our American-style Pilsner. Some of the other favorites I have in here, I've got our West Coast IPA, I've got our Extra Pale Ale,
Okay.
and then our Fest beer that we just brewed in the past 6 weeks or so to get ready for our Retoberfest this weekend.
So that's something that I want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm drinking the barrel age right here, and we'll get into that right now. We'll give a shout out to them.
Yeah.
But the Retoberfest, which is this one right
Yep.
here, right?
Yep.
What was the inspiration? Because I was telling you off camera that it felt like you guys flew to Belgium, stole someone's recipe, and brought it here. That's how good this is.
Thank you.
This is my style beer. This is where I would go every day, all day. As a matter of fact, if I could live in Belgium, I might be Belgian. I think I am Belgian. No, I'm not. But there might be a little. There you go. I don't speak. I'm going to Canada next week into the French area in Quebec City, and I don't speak anything French, so that's going to be interesting. But this is really interesting. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind this.
Yeah, I mean, fest beers, like, everybody associates Oktoberfest with Marzen lagers. And a while back, the commission that puts on Oktoberfest wanted a lighter option for people to drink, so, people weren't getting full, they weren't getting too drunk. That's where the idea of fest beers came from. And Dickie wrote up a great recipe for it. Really, when it comes into, you have to start with a good recipe, but it's the process after that.
Right.
You can have the best grains, the best hops, the best yeast strain, but if you don't take care of it and give it all at once and keep everything clean and in the right temperature ranges and stuff, it's not going to come out as a good product. So it's not just that we borrowed recipe ideas from other successful beers that have been around for years. It's also just the attention to detail in the whole process from start to finish.
This is amazing. All right, so everyone in here needs to
I'll drink
have
to that.
this.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, indeed. So let's play a little game here. So close your eyes.
Okay.
All right. So imagine it's 1989. All right, and you're in roller skates. Unfortunately, Jason's not around, so he's in some imagination world
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
So, all right. So pretend it's 1999.
Got
There
it.
you go. But and you roller skated to an arcade. You got your Walkman on your hip. You got something blaring in your hip. What's the first arcade machine you're running to, and what's blaring in your headphones? So
well,
You can go first.
So 89 for
Yeah.
JT,
Yeah.
99 for Jason. So
Yeah, so this was a real thing. So I don't even have to go that far to know this one. But I was definitely listening to, hip hop when it was coming out. I definitely liked alternative, a little bit of grunge, but that was a little later. And I would play, if I was going to play a machine, I'm playing something like The Simpsons or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those big games that had 4 players at it, where you and your friends could all play together and advance through a game. That's what we did all the time.
So I, being, thinking from the 99 standpoint,
Right.
Probably what would be playing in the headphones, like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I could dig that. Californication.
Big fan, yeah. Californication, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, just great albums.
Yeah.
Honestly, the game I'd probably play is, and I wish we still had our cabinets in here, because Mega Man 5.
Nice.
Mega Man 5, still to this day, I will fire that game up and power through.
Wow, you just brought chills. Mega Man was epic. That was game changing. That was one of the greatest. Man. Like, if I learned how to drink, was during Mega Man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I used to be running around with like blue cups on my hand, pretending that was Mega Man.
That's awesome.
So, but Mega Man 5, that was one of those where my wife would tell me, "Hey, get off the video gaming," right? So,
Nope, not yet.
No, not yet. Sorry, can't do that. That's fantastic. I love the idea of going back in time, because that's what this place really is bespoke of. You come in here and you could have the worst day of your life, but you're coming in here and you feel nostalgic. You feel like you've come back in time. You feel maybe as a kid because you remember those Nintendo days. Shout out to Nintendo. Right. We gotta pay dividends somehow. Shout out to Atari, because you come in here and you see some of the gaming theory theming, but you really feel like you've come to a place where you can accept comfort. And one of the things that I find interesting, and as I'm doing all these interviews with these breweries, fantastic breweries, everyone has their own theme. Everyone really gels into their neighborhood. And one of the things that I've realized is that the brewery really makes the neighborhood. How are you guys making this community grow, and how is the community helping you grow?
Yeah, we always want to be part of something bigger than just serving alcohol. We want to give back, and we're very fortunate to have this place, and sharing that with everybody is definitely what we like to do here. So, we try and be engaged. We always, partake in the local festivals, and there's no shortage of charities out there that we always are a part of every year.
Right.
So we will do everything we can to always give back, because we have been so fortunate.
Even to piggyback on the charities that we work with every year and stuff, once a month we have we have the Greater Charlotte SPCA in here for dog adoption events.
Absolutely.
We do like JT said, every year we do various charity brews like Pink Boots and stuff.
Right.
And just trying to do fun things for the community, like the Father's Day beers that we sold, where people could come in, and whether they were home brewers, they were just curious about it, but they could come in and work with me and Dickie on what kind of beer they wanted to brew, which is actually how we got the giving back that you have a full pour of there.
So giving back, barrel aged breweries, and shout out to Mandrell and Sean. They really wanted to join us, but we're going to catch them at a later episode. Yeah, nice. So if you guys are really interested, Barrel Age Charities is really doing some amazing stuff, and we're going to give our producers some information on the back end so we can post about what they're doing for their cancer research and awareness programs here in the greater Charlotte area, but really all over the U.S. So we're going to make sure that we get them shouted out, and we're going to go ahead and work with them for an annual cause that they do yearly here in Fort Mill. But, one of the things that I really champion on is how a brewery really resurfaces the landscape of a community. Mm-hmm. And I think that you guys really have your own oasis. Yeah. Like, you guys have built like practically your own country here in Kingsley, Fort Mill. This plaza was an oasis that LPL Financial, shout out to LPL Financial. My wife works in the financial industry, so I got to shout out the boss lady. So here we go. But LPL really brought the vibe here, but you guys really elevated the stream and the flow, So how do you guys work together as a co-op? How do you make it manifest and continue lively and continue working? Really, what's the nitty gritty? Describe it like a beer.
Well, it takes a bunch of ingredients to brew a beer. So, you have your local community, you have your local businesses, and that can be, a grain to a beer situation. Then you have the customers and the guests that come here and enjoy it as well. So those could be the hops. And, you put all those things together, and it's just a beautiful place to come and hang out. Just like in the end, you end up with a great fest beer or a great New England style IPA. So it's multifaceted in its way to bring everybody together and to offer a space for all those people, no matter what your background is or whatever, to feel like a safe place to come and hang out and just relax.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And I would say it's even like, as brewers, we joke about we don't make beer, we make wort. And then the yeast makes beer. So like Replay's, JT and Leah have built an awesome thing here. They're like the brewers of this place. They put all the ingredients in place, like the staff, the infrastructure, all of it.
Right.
But what really takes that from just being a building with people in it to a fun place is customers coming in. People like you that want to do fun stuff with us, want to come to
And
our
get
events.
drunk.
And that doesn't hurt. But it's almost like they put all the pieces in place just like Dickie and I do when we're making when we're actually brewing, and then it's up to whether it's a couple hundred customers or 500 billion yeast cells, whatever, that actually make it worth something in the end.
100%.
So one of the things that what I'm hearing here is that we need to drink more beer. Beer makes us happy. Beer facilitates community.
Never met a beer that made me
No,
sad.
right?
True.
So you guys have created your own oasis. So speaking of an oasis, right? I don't know why that's a hard word for me to say. Oasis.
It's because you're not a British guy.
Right. Do tell. Now, if Replay itself was its own country, now thinking gaming,
Okay.
who would you be? Like, besides the U.S., if you were, and this is tongue in cheek, right?
Sure.
Who would you be? Would you be Japan, a Germany? What would you be like as a country? What defines you? Because your gaming world here, the oasis that you've created for some of the people like myself who come in here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to make me that mac and cheese from the dollar store all over again, please. So tell me, please.
I think I would go something like the Bahamas,
Okay.
surrounded by liquid, which we currently are, beer.
Okay.
But it's also a chilled vibe, relaxing, and someplace that you just want to kick back and relax at. And that would be what we try and do here.
I'd have to say, and honestly, you took the idea right out of my head because the first country out of your mouth was Japan.
Yeah.
Not even just to lean into the gaming theme, but like whenever like Americans go to like downtown Tokyo at night,
Right.
and they've got all those neon signs lit up, and it's the most densely packed and busy city in the world. People have that like, whoa, this is a change from what I'm used to kind of moment. And people have that a lot of times when they walk in here because they're used to just a tap room or a little bar or whatever to get a beer. They're not used to, oh crap, you guys have a 6.5 foot tall Darth Vader and an N64 and 7 pinball. Like I've seen plenty of first time customers come in and have that like, whoa moment. And not to mention the Nintendo tie-ins too. I feel like that kind of leans to Japan a little.
Absolutely, and I love that you said that, and this is going to be a shameless plug, and I apologize, but I'm not going to apologize. But the truth of the matter is Japan is one of the things that we specialize as in cruise planners, a la the travel people. We specialize in experiences like that for all of our clients so that they can be immersed in the world that they transformed in their minds and make it reality. But when you speak about the neon signs, it reminds me of Akihabara. Akihabara is this whole manga anime section of Japan, and it's just a strip. It's like Vegas on gaming drugs, right? It's just crazy, stacked up places, and it's just fascinating, lit up gaming world to the finest. And when I come in here, I think about places like that. I think about places, this reminds me of a la so-and-so. So you guys have created a culture and an atmosphere here that really, when you come in here, is not just inviting, but you've created an atmosphere that creates a sense of, well, wow, remember that time when we went to ... And we were talking about Asheville, right? They have a cool pinball place out there. You guys have some cool pinball machines in here. I think you probably stole them from there. Just saying. No, I'm just teasing, but, no one call the cops. But you definitely have some really cool vibes in here, but you have the Sonic vibe, and I teased about that. What's the next level? What's going to keep your legs spinning, literally? What is the evolution of this place? How do you keep this theme relevant?
So, in like a next level type of thing, we still go around daily, weekly, monthly to different breweries around the country, around the world, and just kind of pull ideas from everybody, because there's such great ideas out there, and you can see what you like, see what you don't like. Our definite plan would be to, get more spots like this and offer some different stuff that we can't offer here. We don't have a very big grass area anywhere, so I like places like that. So certain things like that would be do the same but different. And that's kind of where we're looking to take Replay as the next step.
Well, you guys host a lot of charities, and me and Jason were talking about this. So you guys do a lot already with the community, and be spoken about that. But and we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about one of the beers here, because you guys are the champions right now, right? In relationship with this Yoko Loco Trail. And for those of you who are wondering, what the hell is Juan talking about? Yoko Loco? So York County has a Yoko Loco train, or a bus that goes to all the major breweries that people can partake and experience the brewery scene here. Because for unbeknownst for many people, Charlotte has become the mecca of brewing. Whereas Stone Brewery, once upon a time in San Diego, was the grandfather of that cause. But even before that, you can go to Jimmy Carter, right? But I was I was still like this big.
That's why.
So
He's my
no.
cousin. I'm serious. He's my fifth cousin.
See, we have some historical aspect. See, we teach you not only about gaming, but we go full circle.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a good middle school teacher. They're going to have history, chemistry, and we're going to have some good history.
That's right.
Now I've lost track of. But one of the things that I love about what you guys have exemplified here is that you never stop. You never stop going. So talk about some of the charities and some of the things that you're doing locally to really enhance not just yourselves, but the charities themselves.
Sure. So one thing that's coming up very soon is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
That's right.
So we're going to have a brew day here, and we're going to be releasing a beer that will be a donation to great charities locally. We've done that. We did the giving back for the colon cancer, and that's a fantastic.
But the beer, the beer that you're brewing, the beer that you're brewing for the breast awareness, it isn't just any ingredient. You're getting ingredients from across the country, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This year we're going to be brewing. We're going to have a bunch of people in, a bunch of breast cancer survivors and their families to help out with the brew day. But we're going to be using Moeka honey that is out of New Zealand, and recent studies have found that it has. Like everybody knows that your local honey can help with allergies and antioxidant properties and stuff, but this Moeka honey has been recently shown to have some properties that can help with reducing the size of cancerous tumors and with some of the antioxidant properties that will help smooth out your treatment. Okay. So we're going to be adding that into our beer this time around.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you guys are able to incorporate an ingredient that really truly is epicenter to the cure on breast cancer.
We've also every year done a brew for the Pink Boots Society, which is trying to get more women into the brewing industry or the distilling industry, because it is a very male-dominated space. We've also done several brews for a group called Court Shoes Only. That is a charity that works with autistic children and gets them some social skills by playing tennis.
Okay.
But they've also asked for various sponsorships, whether it's from restaurants, breweries, like craft soda companies. So we've done some brews for them. That one's close to me because my fiance actually works with developmentally disabled and autistic children.
Nice.
So even though she's not really a big beer drinker, she's always hyped up about when it's time for us to do our Court Shoes Only beer.
So it's fitting, and I wanna dive real quick into what we're drinking before we close out, because I want to make sure that our audience understands that the ultimate focus is inspiration. So, do you get any inspirations from your travel, or maybe you went to you went to some Baltic state like Croatia, and you were like, oh my gosh, that beer needs to be in our showroom. That beer is something that we need to showcase to folk. Is there ever an opportunity that happens when you do that?
Here and there, we as brewers and owners, it's not about what we want to drink, it's about what our customers want to drink.
Nice.
We always listen to when the customers come in and say, I've really been missing a Belgian beer or a sour or anything that they may want to drink. We're always listening to, and we'll always put that on the list that we have in the back of beers that we're ready to brew. So when we see a public outcry for a certain beer, that's more what we want to bring to them is a good beer that the customers want to drink.
It's not a very self-serving aspect or mindset of it, because we're brewers, we're going to drink whatever we make. But like JT said, it's not what we want to drink, it's what the customers want, what the community wants.
Nice.
So we pay attention to that. It definitely helps that I spend some time behind the bar, because then I'm hearing that feedback from our customers. And then, I relay that to our head brewer, and we start writing up recipes and figuring out when we can schedule things.
So I got a gripe with the Fort Mill distributors. So I got a gripe, but I have a challenge as well. So there's a beer, and we mentioned the Bahamas before.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's a beer that exists in the Bahamas that I absolutely adore. And it's such a simple beer. It's mass produced. It's good. It's great when you're on vacation, on a cruise ship, especially, or on a beach, right? It's called Kalik, all right?
Yeah.
All right, so Kalik is one of those really simple, everyday, let's just drink because it feels like, not that it's water, because it's not, but it is just a social beer.
Yeah.
It is such a great beer. I feel like someone in town needs to make it if we can't get it distributed. But that's the challenge here. That I face. Going around the world, and then you get that beer that's just like, it wasn't your craft, but it was your social beer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that crowd? How do you rounding it down, closing it out as we close out here, but how do you deal with folk like that have a palate where they're like, you know what, I had this great beer. I was out in Jamaica, and besides Red Stripe, they had ...
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, I think we're always taking inspiration from other beverages. So you had a very big connection with that beer, and then we try and take that, and it's almost impossible to, even if you have the recipe to brew that exact same beer, because there's a lot of variables that we're just not going to be able to control. So we try and take that and put our spin on it and say, how do we make the best beer that gives you that same memory, but instead of it being from the Bahamas, it's from Fort Mill. So that's how we like to approach things is we put our fingerprints on it, and hopefully you'll have that same reaction.
Well, I you know what? My reaction is, Kalik, you need to step up your game. I'm just saying, and I can say that face to face to camera. Kalik, you need to step up your game, all right? Because there are folk out here that will buy your beer. But More importantly, there should be folk out here that buy this beer and that come into this establishment and really enjoy the vibe that's going on here at this amazing brewery in Fort Mill. Fort Mill has become one of the little meccas of brewing, and the co-op in York County has grown from Lake Wally to Untamed to Amore, and here, Replay has really become a staple. It's one of my favorites. I wouldn't have a sticker on my Jeep if I didn't believe in this brewery. So either that or they Ubered me home. But what's your Legend of Zelda advice to anyone who's buying into this industry or any industry, right? Because I'm part of a great community called No Shortcuts, the community, and No Shortcuts also has a great podcast with our producer, Travis and Midas, a.k.a. Member of the North Carolina Hall of Fame. I want to tease him on this. North Carolina Hall of Fame. We're going to hear, bah, 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 bah. Anyway, what's your Legend of Zelda advice? Like, you have someone who's like, hey, man, I'm thinking of opening up another place in Fort Mill. Mm-hmm. What do you tell them?
So we were on the other end of that. We were the ones seeking advice at one point. And you always want to listen to really what they say and their body language as they're saying it too, because some people will tell you surface things and some people will really tell you the real stuff. There's challenges in opening any business, no matter what it is. It's just have a good solid plan. Always be prepared for the worst, and if you can weather the worst, then when it's great, you're going to do great. So always do your research, double check everything that you want to do. It doesn't matter what business that is my take on that.
I love it. So we're truly appreciative that we had the opportunity to film yet another episode at another amazing establishment here in York County, the greater Charlotte area, actually. One of the things that I will tell my friends is invest in your community. Invest in the people around your neighbors. You never know who's an entrepreneur. You never know who's bootstrapping. You never know who is out there to refine who they are. They might have been working in a certain industry like I was for 25 years in sports and entertainment and redefine themselves out of sheer luck because I found a great person who was able to inspire me to move forward. So I want to make sure that people understand that there are people and places in this community that, in your community, I should say, that really tie into that ideology. So if you're out there and you got an idea, go for it. Hey, we've been beyond. It's been beyond a privilege to be here at Replay. They've been hospitable. We love this place, and we want to thank our sponsors, Ernesto Hernandez with Carolina Outdoor Clothing, who really put this together for us. We want to thank Matt Gleaves with Confined Space Coffee and his venture in tackling mental health and really doing some great, amazing partnerships in Indiana. And we want to thank Cruise Planners, our main sponsor here, which is my company. The boss lady is probably watching and listening right now. So I want to thank her and thank all those people and thank all the viewers. We want to thank you guys for coming out. But if you're looking to come out to be experienced and come out and be Back to the Future, right? If you want to be Marty McFly, where are they coming?
They're coming to Replay here in Kingsley.
Well, that's a wrap, brother.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.